Hold your breath, because Lady Murdiana's fairy tale life flips upside down faster than a dragon's tail. One day, she's gliding down the aisle in a dress worth more than a castle, marrying the charming young king of Joanka. The next, she's kicked out of her own kingdom, crown slipping, smile fading, with nothing but a shady driver and a cliffside for company. Talk about a plot twist. Just days ago, Joanka was bursting with joy. The king's coronation and wedding happened in one dazzling day, with confetti practically raining from the sky. Murdiana, now queen, waves to the cheering crowd, her new husband teasing her for looking too serious. His smile? Absolutely heart-melting. She blushes, feeling like the luckiest woman alive. After all, she's not just royalty, she's a saintess, powered by love itself, making her the kingdom's shining star. Everyone believes she and the king are soulmates, destined to rule in harmony. But the stars have other plans. That night, a group of Saintess trainees arrives, all smiles and gifts for the newlyweds. These aren't just any girls, they're the kingdom's magical rising stars. One trainee, Miranda, gets teary, saying she'll miss Murdiana now that she's moving in with the king. Before leaving, the girls pull Murdiana aside with a mischievous grin, whispering about her royal duty for the night ahead. Her face turns bright red as she glances at her husband, nerves and excitement mixing. Fast forward to the cliffside nightmare. Murdiana's driver turns out to be the worst kind of traitor, taunting her as an outcast with no one to save her. She fights back like a warrior, kicking hard, but he's relentless. In a rage, he shoves her off the cliff like she's nothing. As she falls, her mind isn't on the crown or the betrayal. It's on Irving, the man she loved, who broke her heart. In this kingdom, a saintess like Murdiana must share her heart with her true love to unlock epic divine powers. Her maids, buzzing with excitement, prep her for the big moment like it's their own wedding night. She steps into the royal bedroom, where King Irving waits, looking every bit the charming hero. Before things heat up, they pause to admire Joanka's sacred flower, a magical bloom that glows bright when a saintess's love is real. It's not just pretty, it protects the kingdom and mirrors their bond. The flower shines as Irving gently scoops Murdiana into his arms, all princely charm. Noticing her nerves, he slows down, whispering sweet words to ease her fears. It's just them, the glowing flower, and a centuries-old tradition. But the next morning, Murdiana wakes up alone. Irving's gone, vanished without a trace. The warmth of last night fades fast when she spots the royal flower. Once bursting with life, it's now wilted, drooping like it's lost all hope. Her heart drops. This sacred symbol of their love and her power is dying, and Murdiana's left stunned, wondering what went wrong in her fairy tale love story. Stay tuned for the shocking truth. The sacred flower, tied to the saintess's love, should be glowing with power, but when it wilts like a forgotten plant, it spells trouble. Murdiana stares at the drooping petals, her heart racing, refusing to believe her love for King Irving is fading. She bolts from her bedroom like the castle's on fire, only to nearly crash into her handmaiden, who's all smiles about morning prayers. Murdiana's in no mood for calm vibes today. Outside, the castle halls buzz with worried citizens, whispering about the dying flower. Some fear the kingdom's doomed, others just love a good symbol, but the gossip spreads fast. At her prayer spot, Murdiana tries to summon her saintess powers, but they fizzle like a broken spark. The trainees nearby gasp, sensing the divine connections gone dark. They suggest a break, and Murdiana seizes the chance to hunt for Irving. Big mistake. She soon spots her husband in a stairwell, wrapped up with a mysterious hooded woman, all whispers and kisses, no shame. Murdiana calls out, hoping it's a cruel joke, but Irving turns, cold as ice, and drops a brutal truth. He never loved her, only married her for the crown, using her saintess status as a key to power. His heart belongs to the hooded woman. No title needed. Murdiana clings to hope, but Irving points to the wilted flower, now a sad, crumpled mess, and says it proves their love was never real. Her world shatters. King Irving, in a cruel twist, crushes the sacred flower in his hand like it's worthless, while his hooded mistress smirks like she's watching her evil plan unfold. Murdiana stands frozen, her heart pounding, as the archbishop rushes in, eyes full of worry for her. But before he can offer comfort, Irving snaps a harsh order. Banish Murdiana now. She's stunned, her love for him shattering as he casts her out like a forgotten promise. The archbishop's sorry eyes meet hers, but he obeys the king, whispering a quiet vow to protect her. It's a small spark of hope in her pain. Guards drag her away like she's nothing, her mind spinning with questions. Was every kiss a lie? Why her? That night, alone in a carriage by a eerie cliff, she replays every moment, lost in a storm of what-ifs. The carriage stops, and the driver opens the door with a chilling calm that screams danger. Meridiana fights back, but he chases her down and shoves her off the cliff, like she's a secret he needs gone. As she falls, her heart broken and hope fading, she makes one desperate wish, a chance to start over, free from betrayal. Miraculously, fate listens. Meridiana opens her eyes, not dead, but back in time, standing at the flower festival beside Irving. The day he proposes. Her head spins. Nothing makes sense. Is this a second chance or a cruel trick? One thing's certain. Something big is brewing. Irving steps up, seeing she's shaken, playing the caring hero, but she pushes him away and races off like she's dodging a curse. The crowd buzzes with gasps and gossip, while Irving stands frozen, looking like he just got dumped in front of the whole kingdom. Meridiana stops far away, out of breath, half sure this is a crazy dream. To check? She pricks her finger on a thorny flower. Yep, the sting's real. On reflex, she summons her Saintess powers, and whoosh, the cut heals in a glow of light. Her magic's back, but the timing's all wrong. She's stuck on that day, the huge garden party where everyone's dressed like royalty on parade, and she's due to lead a sacred prayer, on proposal day no less. It's like the gods are messing with her head. The crowd's hyped, already betting on Irving's big moment. Their love story, the kingdom's favorite tale. Back then, it felt like a dream. Irving pulled her close under glowing flowers, teased her with that killer smile, and charmed her until she blushed bright red. Then came the kiss, the whispered proposal, and a ring sparkling with promise. She said yes, believing in a love that seemed forever. Spoiler, it was as fake as a dragon's treasure. Now, with her heart barely holding together, Meridiana wants no part of this repeat romance. She tries to slip away, but Irving steps right in her path like he's got this moment memorized. Irving strolls in, looking like a prince straight out of a love story, holding flowers like he's ready to win her heart. But Meridiana's not impressed. She's annoyed and suspicious. She snaps, asking why he's there, and he calmly says he knew exactly where to find her, offering her favorite flowers like it's a grand gesture. It flops hard. She looks like she's stuck in a rerun she hates. Ready to bolt, she turns away, but Irving gently stops her, pointing out she's been off all day and he's not buying her "I'm fine" act. He locks eyes with her, bold as ever, and asks her to marry him, just like that, urging her to open up if something's wrong. But Meridiana's not falling for it. The memory of his hooded mistress, that black rose lady, hits her like a lightning bolt, reminding her of his betrayal. She's done with heartbreak and not signing up for round 2. With one sharp sentence, she shuts him down. No marriage, not now, not ever. Irving's left stunned and the crowd holds its breath. Meridiana, fresh off crushing Prince Irving's hopes, faces a brutal rejection. She tells him straight, "I don't love you anymore," and struts away, no regrets, leaving him like a wilted rose. Back at the festival, her vibe's all confidence until a count's daughter, obsessed with Irving, clumsily spills wine on her, calling it karma. The noble swings insults and a slap, expecting Meridiana to crack. Instead, Meridiana laughs, bright as ever, infuriating the snob. She spots a bucket, saunters to a waterfall, and with pure petty flair, douses the count's daughter and some unlucky bystanders. Gasps echo, but Meridiana's unfazed, claiming she saw a bee. Right on cue, a bee buzzes by, backing her up like nature's wingman. The count's daughter sputters, but Meridiana steps close, flashing a sarcastic smile and whispers she's still the Saintess, untouchable. Her icy glare silences the crowd and she turns to leave, ready to ditch her soaked dress. But Irving, ever dramatic, scoops her up in front of everyone. Meridiana, flailing, demands he put her down, but he's deaf to her protests, carrying her into the castle like a rom-com hero gone rogue. Inside, away from nosy nobles, Meridiana demands Irving let her go. He answers with a neck kiss that zaps her wit, leaving her stunned. Trying to dial down the drama, he offers to confront the count about his daughter's wine-tossing tantrum, but Meridiana shuts it down. She's done with the spotlight. Still rattled from his bold move, she reminds him she rejected his proposal, like 10 minutes ago. Whatever he's thinking, it's not on her script. But Irving, with his poet-level passion, asks if she really thinks words can kill his love. Her heart skips, traitorously, but she's not falling for it. She demands again to be put down. Spoiler, he doesn't listen. She squirms like she's escaping a trap, but his arms are pure steel. In her room, he finally sets her free, and she firmly tells him to leave. Boundaries? Irving's never heard of them. He locks eyes and, with zero chill, tells her to undress, like he's commanding a royal decree. She's torn between shock and rage, his boldness maxed out, his timing a total flop. Meridiana's heart's racing, but she's not falling for Irving's charm offensive. His whispers and close leans turn her red, but she shuts it down fast, kicking him out with a door slam that echoes. Leaning against it, she wonders if she could have dodged this mess. Later, nobles huddle like gossip detectives, betting the Prince Saintess romance is more fizzle than sizzle. Meridiana meets Miranda for tea and snacks, dodging questions about Irving. Her bestie's all in, Team Meridiana, but something feels off, like a plot twist's brewing. Meridiana keeps it vague, laughs lightly, and thanks Miranda for having her back. They plan another tea date, but when Miranda hopes for a prince patch-up, Meridiana mentally trashes that idea. As she waves goodbye, two handmaidens approach. One's got a cut hand from castle glass. Meridiana heals her with a warm smile, checking off her daily good deed. Out of nowhere, Irving pops up, smirking like he's got a script, teasing her sunny vibe. Before she can scoff, he grabs her hand and pulls her along like they're racing to a royal crisis. Meridiana digs in her heels, but Irving's grip is iron tight, dragging her to his room. Her mind screaming red flags as he claims he just wants to talk. She shuts it down, not here for a cozy chat with the guy who shattered her heart. He pulls out a blooming royal flower, insisting it proves she still loves him, despite her festival rejection. She pushes him back, not falling for it. Deep down, her heart's a traitor, but she's not admitting it. She calls him out. He's chasing her Saintess title, not her. He denies it, but when she asks if he truly loves her, he freezes, his silence louder than words. Done with the drama, she heads for the door, dropping a final zinger. Their marriage would kill that precious flower. But before she can escape, Irving pins her against the wall, all intense vibes and zero chill. His arms trap her, his voice turns soft, and their faces are way too close. How's Meridiana getting out of this royal mess? Prince Irving, still stung from Meridiana's dramatic bite and bolt, broods in his study, buried in papers but lost in thought. Outside, two guards trade looks, sensing his mood's darker than a stormy castle night. They whisper, it's probably Saintess drama. Since their fallout, the castle's vibe is dimmer than a burnt-out torch. A messenger barges in, hands Irving a scroll, and lingers awkwardly. Irving, barely focused, asks if there's more. The messenger, after a pause, suggests fixing things with Meridiana for the kingdom's sake. Irving nods, but he's already haunted by her. He used to make time for her, showing up at the chapel like her personal knight, always tuned to her mood. Now it's just silence, and it's hitting him hard. At the chapel, Meridiana's faking her usual glow, but memories of their happier days weigh her down. Her prayers feel weak, her powers fading like a low battery, and she knows heartbreak's to blame. Done with pining, she vows to love something, anything else to recharge her spark. Strolling through the castle garden, she eyes flowers, birds, maybe even a quirky vegetable. But just as she embraces her new plan, guess who shows up? Irving, crashing her peace like a royal wrecking ball. Meridiana tries to shake off Irving's lingering presence, but a growl steals her focus. A scruffy, wounded puppy stumbles from the bushes, and when she reaches out, it chomps her finger. Unfazed, she heals the little fighter, her Saintess heart glowing. Scooping up the pup, she cuddles it like it's her new bestie and strolls on, already planning its royal dog bed. In the courtyard, her finger stings. Oddly, it's not fully healed, a red flag for a healing pro like her. Shrugging it off, she asks handmaidens for old clothes to craft a cozy bed, her heart all warm and fuzzy. Then, boom, Irving appears like a storm cloud. He spots her bandaged finger and flips into overprotective prince mode, demanding answers. She downplays it as a dog bite, no biggie, but Irving's not having it. He orders his guards to hunt down the pup, his eyes flashing with serious dogs in trouble vibes. Meridiana's heart races, not for her wound, but for her new furry friend. What's Irving planning to do to her precious pup? Myrtiana snaps at Irving, fiercely protective of her new pup, Libel, already named and stealing her heart. Worn out from healing him and praying hard, she's done with Irving's nagging. She tries to leave, but he begs to meet Libel, swearing he won't hurt him, even suggesting she tie his hands to prove it. Her mind flashes to him tied up, looking too charming, and a blush hits before she shuts it down, leaving him hanging. Suddenly, Libel charges in, tiny but fierce, barking at Irving like he's a villain. Irving's stunned, outdone by a puppy. Myrtiana scoops Libel up, smiling tiredly as he glares at the prince, then cuddles close. Irving's jealous, upstaged by a dog. A maiden rushes up, apologizing for Libel's escape. Myrtiana, exhausted, waves it off, just wanting to make Libel's bed and crash. Irving sees her fatigue and, without asking, gently takes Libel from her arms. Libel growls like a mini beast, squirming in Irving's arms, but the prince calms him with ease and carries him like a pro. Myrtiana, too exhausted to fight, trails behind as he leads to her room. There, Irving sets Libel down and starts making the pup's bed, smooth and practiced. Myrtiana, grateful but drained, thanks him and hints he should go. He doesn't. Instead, he asks about her wound, catching her off guard. She brushes it off, but he calls out her unstable powers, seeing right through her. She denies it, but he knows her too well. Stepping closer, he insists his feelings are real, reaching for her hands. She pulls back, firm. She won't marry someone she can't trust. Her heart's with Libel, and she'll use that love to protect the kingdom. Irving thinks it's absurd, a dog over him. She stands strong, hiding a vision of a future where his love failed her. Unfazed, Irving steps up, praising her strength, kindness, and duty, his words hitting deep. As he closes the gap, eyes locked, the air thickens. She turns away, fighting her own heart, but he gently takes her hands from behind, confessing he feels like just a man with her, not a prince. Between his words and his care for Libel, Myrtiana feels trapped in a sweet, dangerous moment, her heart teetering on the edge. Myrtiana's heart's a mess, but as she and Irving lean on a table, he clumsily knocks a book down. The noise wakes Libel, who charges in like a tiny guard dog. Her chest warms, almost like love, but Libel's fierce barks snap her out of it. With surprising strength, she shoves Irving away, grabs her pup, and shuts down his sweet talk, fairy tales and all. It's almost prayer time, and duty calls louder than romance, so she kicks him out. At the chapel, she tries to pray, but her mind's stuck on Irving's chaos. The archbishop sneaks up, asking if she's okay, noting her marathon prayers. She flashes a fake, all-good smile, hiding her inner turmoil. He boosts her up, praising her powers and potential, then hits her with a bombshell. The kingdom's counting on her. No pressure. As he leaves, Miranda and another trainee appear. Miranda, holding a golden wine cup, gives Myrtiana a shady look, like she's plotting behind her glossy smile. She walks over with a smile that feels too perfect, like someone trying to win votes, and offers the drink, telling Myrtiana to take a break. Myrtiana doesn't reject it outright. She's polite, not careless, but says she'll rest after her prayers, then dives right back in like the spiritual overachiever she is. Miranda and the other trainee quietly leave, but the whole moment feels off. Not the drink, though. That probably smells like lavender and guilt. All Myrtiana can think about is gaining control of her powers, not just for herself, but because the whole kingdom is counting on her, like she's carrying a backpack full of bricks. She knows some people are just waiting for her to mess up, but she keeps going. After finishing her long prayers, she decides to accept the drink, thinking maybe a little wine will calm her nerves. She takes one big gulp like a champ, and that's when everything crashes. Dizziness hits her hard, like a runaway cart, and before she can react, she drops to the ground, the golden cup slipping from her hand and spilling with a splash. Meanwhile, across the castle, Prince Irving is in his study, pretending to work. One of his guards, bored and ready to gossip, asks if he's made up with the Saintess yet. Irving stays quiet, clearly not in the mood. The guard keeps going, suggesting maybe a gift would help. He remembers when he used to be her bodyguard. He often saw her buried in books, so maybe a good one would be a smart move. Books don't judge you, unlike the rest of the palace. The guard means well, acting like a personal matchmaker from the gods, but when he looks up, Irving is already gone, just vanished. Turns out the prince liked the idea and ran with it, literally, Next thing you know, he's outside her room, holding a new book and probably feeling more nervous than he'll admit. He knocks softly, gets no reply, then calls out her name in that awkward, formal way people do before stepping into someone's room. The door creaks open, and the room is neat, dim, and completely empty. Strange. She should be done with her prayers by now. He glances at the only one present, Libel, and starts talking like the little dog might actually say something useful. Libel stares back in total silence, no bark, no tail wag, just blank judgment. Irving's eyes scan the room and land on the neatly folded clothes on her bed, the ones she always changes into after praying. That's when it hits him. She hasn't come back. And for someone as routine as Meridiana, that's not just strange, it's alarming. His face shifts, concern setting in fast. Without wasting another second, he rushes out, heart pounding, now fully on edge. Somewhere far from the chapel's peace, Meridiana lies unconscious in a place that looks like a dungeon ripped out of a nightmare. Wet, cold, and lit like a horror scene. She's jolted awake by cold water and gasps, suddenly aware she's chained to a wall. Dizzy but angry, she demands to know what's going on, her voice bouncing off stone. That's when she sees the figure. Cloaked, hooded, silent. But the eyes, those eyes make her freeze. She's seen them before. It's her, the woman from her visions. The one with the black rose. The hooded queen from the future. The one Irving once chose. Or maybe not. The hood hides everything, except the feeling that whatever's starting now, it's going to be bad. Meridiana's heart nearly stops. She's staring straight at the hooded figure, and it's not some mystery villain. It's Clarice, the sweet Saintess trainee she met earlier with Miranda. Plot twist of the century. Her brain short-circuits with one question. Why? Why would Clarice betray her and try to steal the prince like he's some royal giveaway item? But to understand that, we have to rewind. Clarice's childhood was a mess. Storms, silence, and birthdays nobody showed up for. One day, after a moment that probably involved dramatic rain and tear-filled promises, she swore to her brother that she'd become the Saintess the kingdom needed, a light for everyone to follow. Sounds noble, right? But life had other plans. While Clarice was chasing holiness, Meridiana ended up with all the attention, all the praise, like fate handed her, Clarice's spotlight by mistake. That slow burn of jealousy turned to full-blown bitterness, and Clarice, once filled with hope, took a dark turn. Now here she is, in full villain mode. And yes, she was the one who spiked the wine. She gave it to Miranda, all smiles and fake innocence, knowing she'd carry it straight to Meridiana without a second thought. And just like that, mission complete. One drink, one blackout, one chained-up Saintess in a dungeon. Clarice walks up to her now like she's about to win an award for Best Betrayal. She's confident, she's dramatic, and she's clearly rehearsed this speech. She calls herself the only one close to Meridiana's level, which, sure, if close means miles behind, but go off. Then she says she'll replace her as Saintess once she's out of the way. And the boldness, honestly, 10 out of 10. But how did she even pull this off? Nobody saw her drag an unconscious girl through a palace full of guards. Not one alarm, not one curious glance. Either palace security is useless or Clarice has backup, or maybe a side job as a stealth assassin. Meridiana stays strong even in chains, her voice sharp and steady as she demands to be released. Clarice doesn't bother with a calm reply. She pulls out a sword like she's starring in her own drama series and slices Meridiana's clothes, leaving a mark just for show. Then she launches into her big reveal, saying Meridiana was never meant to be the true vessel for the Saintess. To prove her point, she flashes a black rose, the same rare symbol from Meridiana's nightmares, the same one that belonged to the hooded queen beside Prince Irving in her future visions. Now, Meridiana's mind is racing. Is the prince involved? Is he part of this? Clarice grips the sword like she's about to perform some twisted ritual and vows to destroy the current Saintess in training and take her place as the kingdom's shining light. But Meridiana doesn't even blink. She gets the ambition. Being Saintess is a big deal. But Clarice's method makes zero sense. How does swinging a sword in a dungeon scream love and light? Meridiana calls her out, and it clearly hits a nerve. Clarice snaps, her face twisting with rage as she screams for her to shut up. She grabs Meridiana's dress and rips it like she's taking revenge on fabric, leaving her barely covered and clinging to what little dignity she has left. Then comes the wild accusation. Clarice says Meridiana used her body to seduce the prince. And just when you think it can't get worse, she says she's going to cleanse that body with fire. Fire. At this point, it's official. Clarice has lost it. She's in full villain meltdown, laughing like she's the star of a horror show. Meridiana doesn't respond. She just sits in silence, thoughts spinning. She looks back at everything, and the truth hits hard. She never noticed Clarice's cold stares, just like she once missed the signs with Irving. It's the same pain all over again, trusting someone who was quietly waiting to hurt her. Irving takes a brutal hit to the head, blood spilling through his hair and down his face like he's trying out for a horror scene, but he doesn't even blink. Pain's apparently optional for him. Meridiana's clearly panicked, but he gives her that classic, "I got this" look and keeps going, breaking her second chain like it's nothing, then tossing his coat over her shoulders with dramatic flair before leading her out like a royal on a mission. Just as they're almost free, his head starts pounding like a broken drum, and he stumbles. Meridiana tries to heal him, but her magic barely sparks. Too many memories flooding back, his past words echoing in her head, doubts clinging like smoke. She can't breathe, can't focus, and her power fizzles out. Irving tells her to go without him, tries to act all noble and self-sacrificing, even blocks a falling ceiling tile like he's in some heroic final scene. He says he has unfinished business, which basically means, don't ask, but Meridiana's not buying it. She's not leaving, not with questions in her chest and fire still falling from the ceiling. He begs her to run, eyes locked with hers, face covered in blood like some medieval action poster. She refuses. Instead, she gently lifts his chin, stares into him like she's about to give a full lecture on loyalty, and heals him with what power she has left, then collapses right into his arms like a true fantasy heroine. Fully restored, Irving picks her up bridal style and bolts out of the collapsing dungeon like a man late to everything. Outside, the guards are waiting, tired, stressed, and ready to cry with relief. Their joy gets cut short when they drop the big news. Clarice has been caught. Meridiana, already back on her feet because plot armor is real, walks over to her calm and collected. Clarice, still on her nonsense, tries to flip the script, shouting that Meridiana should be arrested. But Meridiana doesn't flinch. No yelling, no magic blasts, no dramatic slap, just calm, controlled silence. A true Saintess move. Meridiana steps forward, calm and unshaken, her voice steady as she tells Clarice that going after the Saintess wasn't exactly a smart move, because if the truth had come out, and it would have, Clarice's own family would have been dragged down too. With quiet confidence, Meridiana gently walks up and places a softly glowing flower into Clarice's palm. Maybe a peace offering, maybe something more. Clarice, still full of pride and anger, tries to summon her magic to make a scene, but nothing happens, not even a spark. Her face drops like someone just unplugged her powers. Meridiana calmly wraps her hands around Clarice's, and in a moment that feels like it belongs to destiny, light bursts out and surrounds them both in a warm glow. Whatever just happened, it's powerful. Then Meridiana speaks again, this time softer, but the words land hard. She says selfish love isn't the same as real love, not even close. That one line breaks Clarice more than any punishment could. She breaks down in tears, finally realizing she's not the victim she thought she was. Irving steps in and orders the guards to throw her in the dungeon, and the command stuns Meridiana. Did he really just do that? No hesitation? But then a cold thought slips into her mind. Clarice is the one with the black rose, the same symbol from those flashes of a dark, forgotten life. This mystery isn't over. Not even close. A small part of her wonders if he's only being this helpful because she's too weak to refuse, and that thought stings. But the way he moves, so careful, so full of genuine concern, makes her start to doubt everything. Could someone who looks this sincere, who speaks with such warmth, really be the same man who betrayed her in another life? The doubt creeps in. Then, out of nowhere, Irving brings up Clarice, voice sharp with anger. He's furious that the Saintess in training hurt Meridiana, and he's not hiding it. He says Clarice deserves every bit of punishment coming her way for what she did to the woman he clearly treasures. Meridiana, still trying to understand what she's feeling, asks if he truly means that. Without hesitation, he says yes, like it's law. His confidence throws her off. She starts thinking, If Clarice is really the Black Rose woman from her past life, wouldn't Irving's reaction be different? Maybe she got it wrong. Maybe the truth isn't what she thought. While her mind runs through memories and doubts, Irving notices another injury, this time on her thigh. He reaches out to help, clearly thinking first aid, but the moment his fingers touch her skin, her body short-circuits. She jerks back with a sound that's way too awkward to pretend didn't happen. It's the kind of sound you pray no one hears, especially not a prince. Completely embarrassed, she tries to act normal, insists she's fine, then pulls the blanket over her like it's a shield against pure shame. Her face is burning, and the silence that follows makes it worse. He definitely heard it. Before leaving, Irving pauses and drops a question that knocks the air out of her. Does she really believe they shouldn't be together? She doesn't answer. Not because she's avoiding it, but because the words won't come. He sees that and gently brings up her unstable powers. His theory? She's been struggling because she's trying too hard to push him away. And hearing that hurts more than she wants to admit. Then he says it. He doesn't even know what he did that was so unforgivable. Why is she treating him like he's something she needs to escape from? Meridiana takes a breath, swallows the lump in her throat, and lies straight to his face. She says she doesn't love him anymore, and even though it's the biggest lie she's ever told, she delivers it with the calmest, most convincing expression she can manage. Irving's face falls instantly, the pain in his eyes hitting harder than any words ever could. He sighs, deep and crushed, like his heart just cracked open. She expects him to walk away, heartbroken but composed. But instead he surprises her again. He gently takes her hands and tells her to use him. If her powers are tied to him, then let him be her anchor. Even if she hates him, even if she wants nothing to do with him, he'll stay. No expectations, no demands, just whatever she needs. Then, with quiet tenderness, he lowers his head and kisses her hand, soft as a whisper. He doesn't say another word, just waits, still holding her like she's the only thing that matters. Meridiana's mind is spiraling, heart overwhelmed. She stares into his eyes, wondering how someone who looks at her like this could ever betray her. Her emotions are a wreck, hope, pain, doubt, all colliding. And somewhere in the chaos, a tiny spark lights up. Maybe he still loves her. Maybe things really could be different. But hope is dangerous, so she buries it fast and throws out a challenge instead. If he truly means what he said, would he still offer himself as her stabilizer, even if she has no intention of marrying him? Her face goes cold, expression sharp, daring him to lie. No softness, no emotion, just steel. Because this time she won't take sweet words without truth. Not after everything. Prince Irving is resolute, willing to do anything to stay near Meridiana. His selfless, almost reckless devotion surprises her. When she questions his desire, he points to the royal family's symbolic flower. Proof their connection still matters. Though Meridiana denies her feelings, Irving gently holds her hand, promising to stay by her side. She suppresses troubled memories from her past life, but agrees to rely on him when needed. Overjoyed, Irving embraces her, vowing to follow her lead while staying true to his heart. As he leans in, a loud crash behind the curtains interrupts. He investigates and finds Libel playfully tugging the fabric with boundless energy. The creature bolts to Meridiana, curling into her arms affectionately. Ignoring Libel, Irving kisses Meridiana's forehead and quietly leaves. Alone, Meridiana is consumed by thoughts of him. Days later, she sips tea on the balcony with her cheerful friend Miranda. As they chat, Miranda mentions the upcoming ceremony with a smile. The annual event is a major occasion in the kingdom, where Saintess trainees and the current Saintess compete before the royal court to determine the year's title holder. It's a fair contest, with the most exceptional candidate winning. Meridiana has won 2 years in a row since turning 16, with Clarice and Miranda placing second and third. With Clarice out of the running, Miranda has a clear shot but deflects attention, encouraging Meridiana instead. Meridiana, however, isn't eager to win again. Curious, Miranda questions if she truly doesn't want to be with Irving, gently probing her friend's doubts and inner struggles, almost testing her limits. Meridiana doesn't notice Miranda's subtle mind games, quietly absorbing her friend's gentle hints. Miranda's suggestion that Meridiana step down plants a seed in her mind, and it doesn't sound bad. She sees Miranda as kind and capable, perfect for the Saintess role. But deep down, Meridiana considers stepping away to avoid Irving, a thought she keeps battling. Meanwhile, Miranda eats calmly across from her, seeming detached, as if nothing deeper is happening. Later, a Saintess trainee approaches Prince Irving, asking for a brief meeting. She says she has important news about Meridiana, grabbing his attention. He leans in, listening closely. Miranda reveals Meridiana plans to lose the sacred ceremony on purpose, to give up her Saintess role. Irving looks doubtful, but Miranda adds that Meridiana wants to distance herself from him. She suggests he give Meridiana space and asks him to keep their talk secret. He nods, thanks her, and walks away without another word. Alone, Miranda's cheerful smile vanishes. Her face twists with frustration, revealing her true feelings. She's furious that Irving only cares about Meridiana. In that moment, she doesn't seem like the same person. Anyone doubting the identity of the mysterious Black Rose Lady, the hooded queen from Meridiana's past life, would suspect Miranda. Prince Irving enters with a stern look as palace staff whisper about Meridiana's rumored Saintess status. His sharp words silence them, leaving them stunned. They bow, apologize, and scatter, the corridor quiet again. Later, Irving finds Meridiana finishing her prayer and tells her to prepare for a duty trip to town. It's a trick to spend time alone with her, away from guards and palace eyes. They stroll through lively streets, sharing quiet laughs and enjoying each other's company. A young girl bumps into Irving, falls, and scrapes her hand. Meridiana kneels, examines the injury, and gently heals it. The grateful girl smiles, offers Meridiana a small flower, and giggles, saying they look good together. The flower triggers a memory in Meridiana. She recalls a Saintess saving her as a child, awakening her holy powers. That moment led her to the church, where she trained hard to become a Saintess candidate. She gave everything, ignoring all else for her calling. The memory brings back the joy of becoming Saintess, and she trembles. Now on a balcony overlooking the scenic town, Irving turns to Meridiana and gently asks for her hand. Prince Irving reveals a delicate necklace, its jewel matching Meridiana's eye color, and fastens it around her neck. He says he saw it in a shop earlier and wanted her to have it. Meridiana, surprised, struggles to respond, still processing the gesture. Suddenly, Irving takes her hand, pulls her closer, and expresses his hope that she becomes his Saintess, echoing the city's wishes. His sincere words catch her off guard as he opens up about his feelings. But as the moment softens, Meridiana freezes, her eyes drifting to his chest as her mind spirals. A memory of the black-hooded queen flashes through her thoughts, and she steps back, shaken. Irving gently pulls her into a firm embrace, his voice soft as he says he wants her by his side forever. His sincerity hits her hard, and her eyes widen, stunned by his tenderness. Her heart might be wavering again. Whether she's truly falling for him is unclear, but it's worth watching to find out. Meridiana, unsure of Prince Irving's intentions, sneezes suddenly. Noticing the chilly air, Irving suggests they head back to the palace. Her cheeks flushed, Meridiana nods and walks beside him. Back at the palace, she sits in her room, playing with her puppy, lost in thought. Her heart races as she wonders who's manipulating whose feelings, haunted by her past. Doubting Irving's proposal, she fears it's about the crown, not love, keeping her guarded. Later, she prepares for her usual church visit. As she's about to leave, she overhears two girls whispering, accusing her of being arrogant and cold toward Irving. The words hurt, but she reminds herself they don't know the real him. As her carriage passes through town, it goes by the balcony, where Irving held her close. She shakes her head, pushing the memory away. On her way to the church, Meridiana spots a Saintess trainee moving suspiciously through the crowd, head down. Noticing a black rose bracelet on the girl's wrist, curiosity hits. Meridiana stops the carriage and follows her. The trail leads to a narrow alley, where the trainee whispers with another woman. Hiding behind a wall, Meridiana listens. The woman asks if the bracelet boosts love's power, sparking questions in Meridiana's mind. She wonders if this robed figure spreads the rumors. Suddenly, the woman's face is revealed and Meridiana freezes. It's Miranda. A cold shiver runs down Meridiana's spine as disbelief hits her. Could her naive, goody-two-shoes friend really be the woman with the black rose? The realization stuns her. Unaware she's being watched, Miranda talks with the other woman, who says her powers are weakening. Miranda claims hers are growing stronger. Hiding in the shadows, Meridiana recalls seeing the same bracelet on Clarice. A troubling thought strikes. Could Miranda be behind everything? Suddenly, the Saintess trainee smirks and laughs chillingly, unsettling Meridiana further. Unable to stay hidden, Meridiana steps out, calls Miranda's name, and confronts her firmly, saying she heard everything. Miranda turns, unfazed, and calmly asks what Meridiana is doing in such a dirty place. With a sharp smile, she says she heard every word Meridiana said. Mockingly, she asks if Meridiana thinks she's using the bracelet to drain the trainee's powers. Her sinister expression speaks volumes. Still reeling, Meridiana warns Miranda she'll report everything to the Archbishop and face consequences. Miranda flashes that unsettling smile, tells Meridiana to do what she wants, her voice dripping with menace. She adds that Meridiana should prepare for what's coming. Tension thickens, the truth is out, and there's no turning back. The Archbishop stands angrily as Meridiana reveals Miranda's bracelet absorbs others' powers. Before he can speak, Miranda enters, faking tears and claiming Meridiana is lying. She says Meridiana gave her the bracelets to distribute to the Saintess trainees. Meridiana freezes as a butler walks in, holding a tray with 2 bracelets, saying they were found in her room. It's a clear setup, but the Archbishop, unaware, turns against her. He believes Meridiana's unstable powers might be unintentionally draining others. Meridiana tries to defend herself as whispers and accusations spread. Miranda stands aside, quietly laughing as her plan works. Her manipulation turns almost everyone against Meridiana. As rumors spread fast, Miranda keeps adding fuel to the chaos. She casually mentions Meridiana once said she found Prince Irving unpleasant, deepening the damage. Meridiana, stunned, struggles to defend herself, unsure how to fight back. Miranda tightens her control over the narrative. And the Archbishop, blind to her manipulation, believes her every word without letting Meridiana explain. Meridiana tries to defend herself, but the Archbishop interrupts, shouting that her excuses are shameful. She refuses to stay silent, knowing she's innocent. Another Saintess trainee steps forward, claiming Meridiana pushed Prince Irving at the flower festival. Whispers spread, accusing her of losing her ability to love, some saying it's why her powers faded. Miranda stands aside, smiling quietly, satisfied as her facade fools everyone. Desperate, Meridiana demands they use the flower of truth. The room goes quiet. The Archbishop, surprised, pauses, recalling the flower's power. In the royal garden, the flower of truth, a symbol of purity and justice, wilts only when touched by someone with malice. Meridiana insists that if the flower stays unharmed by her touch, it proves her innocence. The Archbishop refuses, saying the flower blooms only every 10 years and is too precious to risk. Meridiana then demands the bracelets be taken from her and that she be watched. She suggests a new test. If she shows greater love at the sacred flower ceremony, it proves her innocence. To clear her name, Meridiana must be chosen as Saintess again at the ceremony, confirming her innocence and triggering an investigation into the real culprit. The Archbishop agrees, stands, and leaves, calling Miranda to follow. As Miranda exits, she turns to Meridiana with a sly smile, mocking her lack of popularity despite being Saintess. Her words sting as she vanishes. With the sacred flower ceremony nearing, all eyes are on Meridiana. Whether she can prove her innocence is uncertain. Meridiana sits alone in her room, confused and overwhelmed, replaying the day's events. Everything unraveled fast, leaving her isolated with no one to defend her. The Archbishop's doubt and the silence around her deepen her sense of betrayal. Thinking of Prince Irving with the hooded woman, pain hits her, and tears fall as she tries to understand. 7 days later, Meridiana prays quietly when Libel tugs her gown, nudging her to walk. Hesitant at first, she agrees, hoping a break eases her restless mind. But the thought of tomorrow's sacred flower ceremony weighs on her chest. She forces a small smile, picks up Libel, and heads to the palace garden, seeking peace in nature. Tension surrounds Meridiana, with Saintess trainees casting judgmental looks. But the palace maids and helpers who admire her kindness offer warm support, giving her quiet strength. In the garden, she unexpectedly meets Prince Irving and Miranda. Miranda eagerly talks to the prince, but his distant, unreadable expression shows his mind is elsewhere. Doubt floods Meridiana as she watches Prince Irving and Miranda from afar. She suspects they're conspiring, wondering if their garden meetings were always secret. Betrayal weighs heavily, overwhelming her. Struggling to breathe, she tries to stay strong, but emotions overtake her. Her vision blurs and she collapses, fainting. Irving snaps out of his daze when he sees Meridiana fall. He rushes to her, catching her before she hits the ground. Carrying her in his arms, he hurries to her room, worry clear on his face. Miranda stands frozen, her face twisting with rage as Irving walks away with Meridiana. She calls out, but he ignores her, leaving her furious and alone in the garden. Irving gently places Meridiana on her bed, staring at her pale, weak face. His concern deepens as he leans closer, noticing her condition. The royal family's sacred flower pendant at her neck glows softly, catching his eye. Meridiana stirs, and he calls her name urgently. Beneath his worry, questions arise. Is he under some influence? Is Miranda's hold stronger than it seems? The truth starts to surface, and events take a darker turn. Meridiana slowly wakes, faintly calling Prince Irving's name. She opens her eyes, finding him beside her, gently hugging her in relief. Confused about how she reached her room, she blinks through hazy thoughts. Overwhelmed, Irving kisses her lips. As they kiss, the royal flower pendant at her neck glows brighter, its energy pulsing, restoring her strength and boosting her power. Meridiana sits up, feeling stronger after fainting from days of overusing her abilities. Irving, noticing her weakness, kissed her to restore her energy. The sacred flower's glow intensifies as her strength returns. Surprised by his action, she stays silent as he holds her, urging her to rest. Struggling with her emotions, Meridiana questions if her feelings come from lingering love, despite Irving and Miranda's betrayal. Conflicted and rejecting the strength from Irving, she stands, recalling the sacred flower ceremony is tomorrow. Needing air, she rushes out, whispering she'll face it alone. Irving calls after her, firmly saying he believes in her. Running through the hallway, Meridiana feels alone, doubting anyone trusts her. Yet Irving's words echo, sparking unexpected hope. Doubt persists, wondering if this is a scheme to break her. Memories of the Archbishop's cold stare and others' whispers flood back, deepening her uncertainty. Alone, Meridiana questions if Irving's kindness is real or another trick to shake her fragile heart. Miranda appears with a sarcastic smirk, accusing Meridiana of faking her collapse to get Prince Irving's attention, calling her desperate. Meridiana freezes, confused by the hatred in Miranda's voice, so different from the warmth she showed during their Saintess training. Struggling to understand, Meridiana asks why Miranda desperately wants to be Saintess. Miranda's answer shocks her, revealing it's all about craving attention and validation for her looks and charm. Miranda admits she'll ruin anyone to be loved and chosen, even if it destroys Meridiana. She pushes Meridiana against the wall, vowing to steal the Saintess title, and Irving, claiming Meridiana lacks the charm for the role and belongs in the shadows. Her hatred spills out, showing how far she'll go. Meridiana, shaken, can't reconcile this cruel Miranda with the friend she knew. With the truth clear, Meridiana resolves to win the sacred flower ceremony tomorrow. The next day, the Saintess trainees gather in a solemn chamber. The Archbishop explains the ceremony's rules. Each trainee channels love into a cathedral crystal, and the first to fill it becomes Saintess. As the ceremony starts, Miranda tries to unsettle Meridiana with sharp words and smug remarks, but Meridiana stays focused, ignoring her. Determined to win and make Miranda face consequences, Meridiana nods as the Archbishop signals the start. Will Miranda claim the spotlight she craves, or will Meridiana rise and earn the justice she seeks? The sacred flower ceremony starts, with each trainee pouring their all into their crystals, which glow brightly. Miranda's crystal changes color quickly, catching the eyes of the cathedral, including the king and queen. Whispers spread, surprised that someone might outshine Meridiana, the favorite. Prince Irving quietly tells the royal couple Miranda is a fellow trainee. The shift in attention unsettles Meridiana, but she stays strong, drawing on memories of love. Her crystal glows brighter, pulling the crowd's focus back and sparking hope for her victory. Miranda glares at Meridiana as her rival's crystal outshines hers. Suddenly, Miranda drops a black bracelet from her sleeve onto the floor. Her crystal dims instantly, confusing the crowd as they notice the bracelet. Meridiana, puzzled, looks around, trying to understand. Miranda quickly blames Meridiana. Irving, seeing the chaos and crystal irregularity, calls for the ceremony to pause. The Archbishop inspects the scene, finds the bracelet, and recognizes it as one that drains love's power. He confronts Miranda, accusing her of cheating to avoid defeat, demanding she explain herself before everyone. Miranda, in tears, defends herself, insisting she's framed and suggesting Miranda set her up. The Archbishop silences her before she can explain further. Miranda seizes the moment, crying and acting like a victim, knowing no one suspects her of sabotaging her own trial. She accuses Miranda of being the real culprit, telling Prince Irving that Miranda became obsessed with her Saintess status and lost her way. The crowd erupts, calling Miranda a coward and cheater, demanding her disqualification. Once admiring, the crowd turns hostile, their cheers now accusations and scorn. Heartbroken, Miranda pleads her innocence, swearing she never used deceit or the bracelet. Miranda runs into Irving's arms, pretending to be distressed, glancing at Miranda with disgust as if innocent. Miranda questions Miranda loudly, asking if she plans to rise by framing others, stealing strength, and crushing trainees. Her voice drowns in the crowd's uproar, now fully against her. Miranda, still in Irving's arms, denies wrongdoing with trembling words, maintaining her innocent act. The judgment is swift, and Miranda is disqualified. Miranda smirks quietly, her plan successful. Is Miranda cast out for good? Miranda stands frozen, her heart heavy, unable to speak as false accusations crush her. As guards move to escort her out, Prince Irving's voice stops them with a firm command. Knowing the sacred ceremony chooses the next Saintess, he suggests everyone gets a fair chance to prove their innocence. He demands the flower of truth, a divine test that reveals true intentions. Be prepared. Miranda's confident look fades, replaced by unease. Miranda, shocked by Irving's words, feels hope and relief, seeing a chance to clear her name. As preparations for the flower of truth begin, Miranda begs Irving to reconsider, and the Archbishop tries to dissuade him. Irving stays firm, his eyes steady. Miranda struggles to hide her growing anger, realizing Irving's actions stem from his feelings for Miranda, fueling her resentment. Tension rises as Irving gently calls Miranda forward. Miranda steps forward slowly, her hand shaking, then breathes deeply and touches the flower of truth. Silence falls over the room. Instead of wilting, the flower glows brightly, stunning everyone. The glow proves Miranda's innocence. Prince Irving smiles widely, looking at her. Miranda meets his eyes, touched by his unwavering support when others doubted her. The Archbishop, now seeing the truth, realizes the ceremony's chaos points to one culprit. Irving approaches Miranda, holding the glowing flower, his face firm with understanding. Miranda's calm breaks. She lashes out, angrily demanding Irving's love. Her outburst shocks the crowd, revealing her true nature. As Irving moves to protect Miranda, the emotional strain overwhelms her. She starts to faint, her mind clouded with worry about Miranda's next move. The moment Miranda shatters the crystal, chaos erupts as thorny vines surge uncontrollably, spreading across the cathedral and leaving everyone in shock. The artifact, no longer restrained, appears to be absorbing love without end. Miranda quickly grasps the danger and resolves to sacrifice her life force to protect everyone, but her strength falters under the weight of the crowd's presence. Just as she begins to collapse, Prince Irving rushes to her side, offering his help. Though she insists on handling it alone, he refuses to leave, standing firm in his commitment to support her. Despite the pain of past betrayal, a part of Miranda still yearns for his love. Our girl questions the sincerity of Irving's love as a mysterious power stirs within her, offering a flicker of hope. But the moment is short-lived. Miranda charges toward them, eyes dark with intent and wielding a life-draining rose. She aims to strike the prince, but Miranda reacts swiftly, pushing him out of harm's way and taking the hit herself. Miranda's fury only deepens as her target is missed, and the cursed rose lashes out, sinking into Miranda's body. Without hesitation, the black bloom begins to overtake her, and Miranda lets out a chilling laugh, convinced that the rose will continue to grow until the Saintess is no more. A wicked smile spreads across Miranda's face as she clings to the hope of finally claiming the title that has long escaped her. Memories of her once glorious past flash through her mind, a time when the world embraced her with warmth and admiration. That adoration became an obsession, fueling her desire to be loved by everyone in the kingdom. Her goal was clear: become the Saintess. During her training, there was a moment that left a lasting mark. She and Meridiana were attacked by a stray dog, both suffering serious wounds. The prince arrived soon after, offering comfort, but his concern leaned more toward Meridiana, who had taken the worst of the attack. That moment quietly planted a seed of envy that never stopped growing. Miranda felt deeply humiliated the moment the prince dismissed her injuries, telling her someone else would tend to her while focusing all his care on Meridiana. In that instant, a darker ambition took root, jealousy igniting into something far more dangerous. As time passed, Meridiana's bond with the prince deepened, and her rise to become the Saintess only sharpened Miranda's resentment into pure hatred. Now, in the present, Miranda watches without a flicker of remorse as the prince desperately tries to save our female lead, whose life hangs by a thread. Even as her strength fades and her breathing weakens, the Saintess musters the will to plead with him to stop, still thinking of his safety above her own, even in the face of death. Our male lead stands firm, refusing to back down or let Meridiana fall. With unwavering determination, he reaches for the cursed black rose, driven by the strength of his love. The moment ignites something deep within Meridiana, a fierce surge of resolve and power she didn't know she still had. Refusing to be defeated by Miranda's cruelty, she rises with renewed strength. In a burst of radiant energy, she channels her emotions into a powerful cry and shatters the black rose, leaving both Miranda and Prince Irving momentarily stunned by the sheer force of her will. Then Miranda collapses to her knees, defeated, as the crowd begins to stir from the trance that had clouded their minds. One by one, they regain awareness, their memories returning alongside the brilliant glow of the cathedral crystal, now at its brightest, with the prince and the true Saintess beside it. Realization dawns and cheers erupt in celebration of Meridiana, their gratitude pouring out in waves that leave her overwhelmed. While our girl basks in the long-overdue recognition, Miranda is consumed by despair, her failed scheme now exposed. Meridiana steps toward her with quiet strength, offering a few pointed words meant to awaken what's left of Miranda's conscience. But instead of reflection, Miranda lashes out, blaming Prince Irving for her downfall, unable to comprehend the love he so clearly holds for Meridiana. Prince Irving responds with a calm smile, walking over to Meridiana and wrapping her in a gentle embrace, his affection clear for all to see. He then turns to Miranda and declares her exile for her actions, sentencing her to an isolated island known for housing criminals, a punishment everyone agrees is fitting. Tears stream down Miranda's face as she pleads with the Archbishop, but he remains silent, as do the other Saintess trainees who now distance themselves from her entirely. Her worst fear has become reality. Guards take her away, marking what feels like the final chapter for the once feared Black Rose Queen, and the end of the pain our girl endured in silence. With the storm behind them, Prince Irving asks Meridiana to continue as Saintess, and she accepts. Still, as the celebration fades, a quiet doubt lingers in her heart. Can she truly trust him? Only time will tell. After the incident, Meridiana tends to Prince Irving's wounds with care, her cheeks glowing with embarrassment as she shyly requests to see him later that night, just to talk, she insists. Though he playfully casts doubt on her intentions, they agree to meet outdoors to avoid any misunderstandings. As they sit beneath the stars, his earlier teasing lingers in her thoughts, making her heart race with nerves she can't quite hide. Sensing the weight of the moment, Irving lifts a glass in her honor, celebrating her rightful return as the Saintess, a title well-earned and deeply cherished. Prince Irving gently outlines his expectations for Meridiana's role as the Saintess, fully aware of the weight that comes with it, and offering his support without hesitation. As his hand reaches across the table to meet hers, a quiet moment passes, one that sends our female lead deep into thought. The depth of her feelings for him stirs something powerful within her, a reminder of the strength that blossoms from genuine love. With the woman who once stood in their way no longer present, Meridiana quietly wonders if it's safe to let herself fall for him again. When our male lead offers to sit beside her, the sudden suggestion catches her off guard, leaving her flustered. Still, she agrees, quickly taking a sip of wine to steady her nerves as he moves closer. As soon as Irving settles beside her, he gently lifts Meridiana's chin and notices the warmth in her cheeks. She's clearly tipsy. Concerned, he quietly takes the bottle from her and finishes it himself to keep her from drinking more. Before he can say anything else, Miranda impulsively pulls him in for a kiss, laughing softly afterward, clearly delighted with herself. Realizing just how intoxicated she is, Irving stays composed, and when she asks to go back to his room, he agrees. By morning, Miranda wakes up beside him, her mind hazy as she glances at the shirtless prince next to her. She lies still, replaying the night in her thoughts, unsure how far things might have gone. Prince Irving wakes and turns to find Miranda visibly anxious, clearly troubled by her hazy memory of the night before. With a playful smirk, he leans in and teases her about her boldness, recounting how she'd sweetly called his name before drifting off. Our girl flushes with embarrassment, her face burning brighter than ever as she struggles to process his words. As he gently runs his fingers through her hair, her heart flutters from the closeness, emotions stirring deep within her. But just as warmth begins to build in her chest, memories from a past life resurface, casting a sudden shadow over the tender moment. A lingering dream clings to Miranda's thoughts, stirring a quiet unease despite Miranda's exile and the promise of better days ahead. Though everything appears calm, the echoes of her past life continue to surface, leaving her unsettled. In the present, she and Prince Irving ride together in a carriage, a rare occasion, and while Miranda feels slightly tense, his soothing presence quickly eases her nerves. Their journey leads them to the kingdom of Cornelia for a diplomatic visit, where they're warmly welcomed by King Kamal and Queen Rasha, a graceful and united pair who embody strength and harmony. Miranda can't help but feel a twinge of envy as she thinks about the royal couple before them, admiring what seemed like a perfect union. When they arrive, King Kamal greets them with a wide smile, but Queen Rasha lingers quietly behind him, her expression distant and far from the warmth Miranda remembers. She also spots a new tattoo on the king's neck, something unfamiliar and striking. Prince Irving thanks Kamal for the warm welcome, but the king brushes off the pleasantries and announces that a banquet awaits their arrival. With a sharp tone, he suddenly calls out Rasha's name, casting a cold glance her way as he orders her to lead their guests inside. She obeys without a word, her demeanor subdued, and Miranda watches the exchange with growing unease, disturbed by the shift in the king's behavior. At the banquet, Miranda notices a heavy sadness clouding Queen Rasha's expression, and the warm connection that once defined the royal couple now feels completely absent. While Prince Irving and King Kamal engage in light conversation, Miranda struggles to process the cold reality unfolding before her. Unable to hold back her concern, she gently leans toward Rasha and quietly asks about the king's sudden change. The queen reveals that Kamal has been distant and unrecognizable for over 6 months. Miranda offers quiet comfort, heartbroken to see someone once so cherished reduced to silence. The shift in Kamal's behavior stirs painful memories, forcing her to reflect on how quickly love can turn, just as it had with Irving in the life she once lived. Still seated at the banquet, our female lead is so consumed by her thoughts that when Prince Irving offers her a drink, she flinches and accidentally knocks the cup from his hand. Startled, our male lead quickly apologizes, and she does the same, assuring him she's fine, even though her mind is far from calm. As she struggles to steady her emotions, the hall erupts with cheers, the atmosphere shifting with sudden excitement. All eyes turn toward the entrance as Cornelia's Saintess, Kiddo, makes her grand appearance, her radiant smile captivating the room. Miranda watches closely, curious about what kind of Saintess could command such admiration. If you're eager for the next chapter, drop a comment expressing your interest in a part 2. Don't forget to subscribe and ensure to hit the notification bell to stay updated. Until next time.